climbed out of his car, wishing he'd taken some naproxen before leaving headquarters. The pain his 10-inch abdominal scar still produced surprised him. His kidneys, which had been compromised by the fibrosis, also bothered him if he moved too fast. As he approached the people on the sidewalk, the uniformed officer said, "This is Rita Altman. Her sister is one of the victims inside. She came by this morning to pick her up and found them." The woman, late 30s and heavyset with hair to her waist, glanced at Jackson, then continued weeping into the phone as she described her ordeal to a listener. "Don't let her leave. I need to talk with her in a minute," Jackson said and hurried past. He needed to get inside the home and see the scene before it was swamped with people doing their jobs. Behind him, the scream of an ambulance raced up Harlow Road. Why the siren? Jackson wondered. They wouldn't need its paramedic services, just its cargo space to transport bodies. Ed McCrae, an older detective fond of brown corduroy, joined him on the sidewalk. They looked at each other without speaking, then started for the house. Jackson visually searched the driveway as they walked past the cars. He had a small hope of finding something the killer might have dropped. At the threshold, Jackson grabbed paper booties and latex gloves out of his shoulder bag. McCrae did the same. Jackson suspected that today he would need nearly everything the bag held: flashlight, crime scene tape, an assortment of pre-labeled paper bags and clear plastic bags, a box of latex gloves, tweezers, and 3 cameras: film, digital, and video. He braced himself, nodded at McCrae, then pushed through the door. A sour metallic smell soaked the air, overpowering even the odor of meat scraps in the garbage. The front door opened into a narrow hallway with vinyl flooring, bordered by a step down into a carpeted, crowded living room. With a sweeping glance, Jackson took it all in. 2 well-worn couches huddled around a big TV, a cluttered desk in the corner with an old computer, a bookshelf with more sports trophies than books, and a wall covered with family photos. Then he saw the wide archway into the kitchen, and beyond it, the bodies. A patrol officer squatted near the bloody mess. He jumped at the sound of their footsteps. "This girl is alive," the officer said in an excited rush. "After we cleared the house, I went back to the kitchen to stand guard. I was taking pictures and realized she was still breathing, so I called for an ambulance." A survivor. Thank God. Someone would be able to tell them what the hell had happened here. Jackson started toward the kitchen, then froze. He looked down at the floor and spotted bloody footprints leading away from the bodies toward the front door. Critical evidence, and they were walking on it. He turned to McCrae. "We need samples of the blood on these footprints right now." Jackson wondered about another way into the house, maybe through the garage. He let the idea go. The paramedics would charge through the front door no matter what he requested. Their objective was different from his. Jackson took 5 quick photos of the footprints while McCrae scraped and bagged some dried blood. They hurried over to the bodies. Jackson forced himself to shut out everything but the girl who was still breathing. She looked about 17, and her head rested on the stomach of another woman. Based on their matching reddish-blonde hair and freckles, he assumed the body underneath was her mother. Knowing the paramedics were a heartbeat away and would alter the crime scene when they carried the girl out, Jackson knelt and snapped another round of photos. He took one of her face, one of the congealed, bloody gash cut through the belly of her blood-soaked shirt, and one close-up of each hand to document the defense wounds. For a moment her eyes fluttered open, pale green and distant, then closed again. Jackson stepped back and took 2 pictures of her position relative to the other bodies before the paramedics rushed in. "Stop there," he said. "You're not wearing booties and we have to do this carefully. McCrae and I will carry her to the gurney." "No, we have to do this." The taller paramedic rolled the gurney into the kitchen and pushed past. He shifted to the other side of the bodies and squatted near the young woman's head and shoulders. The other paramedic grabbed the girl under her knees, and they gently loaded her on the gurney. As they tended to her wound and gave her oxygen, Jackson hung back and